The 1918 World Series was a somber affair that was largely overshadowed by events taking place in the real world. Since the entry of the United States 17 months earlier, the war in Europe had expanded into a world war that seemed no closer to a resolution, tinging in bitter irony the billing of the games between the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs as the World Series. The uncertainty of war caused the season to end a month early, with the Fall Classic beginning September 5th. And with Americans expecting that baseball would not be played in 1919 and fearful that it might never resume, even the mound heroics of a young Red Sox left-handed pitcher named Babe Ruth failed to relieve the gloom. When the armistice was signed 2 months after the end of the World Series, the mood turned to jubilation. Not only did the 1919 season take place, the turnstiles at Major League parks whirled incessantly all summer, creating great anticipation that fall's World Series between the Chicago White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds would provide a fitting climax. With a mind to the recent revolution in Russia and the ongoing tumult in that nation, one reporter joked that Bolshevik leaders Vladimir Lenin and Leon Trotsky were betting on the Reds. It was not the last time that the name would prove problematic. 3.5 decades later, the anti-communist fervor during the Cold War resulted in a brief change from Cincinnati Reds to Cincinnati Redlegs. But in 1919, most Americans were only too happy to avert their eyes away from overseas turmoil in favor of simpler matters, and they were generally inclined to believe that the White Sox would emerge triumphant. Instead, several Chicago players turned in subpar performances, and it was Cincinnati that captured the 1919 Fall Classic. Even this did little to stem the buoyant mood. Americans, after all, love upsets. But then in September of 1920, with the White Sox in the thick of a tight American League pennant race, the shocking news broke that 8 players, who soon became known as the Black Sox, had met with gamblers prior to the previous fall's World Series and had accepted money to fix the outcome. While there was particular dismay among baseball fans, the nation as a whole expressed an overwhelming sense of betrayal. As the narrator of F. Scott Fitzgerald's novel The Great Gatsby observes, fixing the World Series was akin to playing with the faith of 50 million people. Others also turned to religious metaphors to articulate their disillusionment. The Chicago writer Nelson Algren later recalled that learning that the 1919 series had been thrown made him feel as if my own gods proved me false. And Babe Ruth compared the revelation to hearing that my church had sold out. As the persistent use of religious metaphors suggests, the Black Sox had created nothing less than a moral crisis and a national soul-searching. Baseball felt obliged to respond forcefully to this outcry. Following the 1920 season, Kennesaw Mountain Landis, a crusading Chicago judge who had made national headlines by subpoenaing John D. Rockefeller, was selected as baseball's first commissioner and given sweeping powers to investigate and address any threat to what became known as the best interests of baseball. But while Landis's powers were broad, his mission was narrow: to make sure that nothing like the World Series gambling scandal of 1919 ever occurred again, and just as importantly, to restore the faith of the American public in how baseball crowned a champion. To fulfill that mission, the new commissioner banished all 8 Black Sox players from organized baseball for life and informed everyone associated with the game that they would meet a similar fate if they bet on baseball or took part in game fixing. By also watching over subsequent World Series with an eagle eye, Landis restored the faith of Americans that the result was being determined on the field, not in a darkened alley. For baseball, it was a new beginning. The unsavory chain of events that became known as the Black Sox scandal is often thought of as baseball's original sin. After all, we all believe that kids should be taught to respect the game by playing baseball the right way, don't we? And what could possibly be worse than getting to the very pinnacle of the national pastime, the World Series, and then deliberately letting down your teammates and your loyal fans by trying to lose? Seen from this perspective, the 1919 World Series took away the game's innocence, as symbolized by the probably apocryphal tale of the Chicago urchin who called out, "Say it ain't so, Joe," as Sox outfielder Shoeless Joe Jackson walked out of a courthouse. Others, however, have made a case for the innocence of some of the banished players, most notably for George "Buck" Weaver, a popular nine-year veteran with an infectious smile. Grantland Rice described the hard-nosed infielder as an everlasting inspiration in the way of pep. Not only a great ball player, but a great fighter. One who seems to give 103% of everything he has to each contest. Today, ball players have inflated the hackneyed phrase to 110%, but the sentiment remains the same. Another sports writer observed that Weaver was an idol on the South Side because of the aggressiveness with which he played. It was as though he could not loaf in a ball game if he tried, because he loved to win too much. And indeed, Buck Weaver always maintained that he neither accepted money to fix the World Series nor agreed to do so, claims that appear to be true. Yet Weaver acknowledged attending the meetings at which the plot was discussed and making the fateful decision to remain silent rather than alert the authorities. Once the scandal was revealed, that was all that mattered. Forgotten were his timely hitting and leading the White Sox to the 1917 World Series, his service as team captain, and his role as an ambassador for the game during a world tour that followed the 1913 season. Also forgotten were his stellar batting and fielding during the fixed 1919 series, including 2 clutch doubles in Game 6, when the Sox charged back from a 4-run deficit to stave off elimination. Weaver was banished along with the players who had taken an active role in the conspiracy, a judgment that Commissioner Landis summarized this way: no player that throws a ball game, no player that undertakes or promises to throw a ball game, no player that sits in a conference with a bunch of crooked players and gamblers where the ways and means of throwing games are planned and does not promptly tell his club about it will ever play professional baseball. Even as late as 1953, at the age of 62, Weaver wrote to then Commissioner Ford Frick asking to be reinstated into organized baseball, but his pleas fell upon deaf ears. A murderer even serves his sentence and is let out, he once told writer James T. Farrell. "I got life." A lively discussion about the Black Sox scandal continues to this day, its complexity increased by a number of perplexing issues. White Sox owner and former Major League ball player Charles Comiskey, for example, was initially seen as an innocent victim of the conspiracy, only to be later accused of provoking the fix by means of penny-pinching tactics. Even if we focus on the more straightforward issue of whether Weaver's punishment was fair, there is considerable room for debate. For example, Pants Rowland, Weaver's former manager, maintained squealing in those days was considered almost a crime in itself, and Buck simply didn't know how to cope with such a situation or the slick operators. Defenders of Weaver also point out that no requirement to report game fixing existed at the time, meaning that his lifetime ban was exactly the kind of ex post facto punishment prohibited by the Constitution. Yet others feel just as strongly that baseball had to make an example of all 8 Black Sox players, Weaver included. The lack of consensus as to how Weaver should have handled this moral quandary is at the heart of why it took the game so long to develop clear standards. For that matter, It helps us to understand why, to this day, baseball has so many unwritten rules about such matters as brushback pitching, bunting to break up a no-hitter, stealing bases with a big lead, and the like. Since unwritten rules are inherently difficult to quantify, let's start by looking at one of today's written rules. Imagine a runner leading off first base and a left-handed pitcher on the mound who begins what seems to be a delivery to the plate, only to whip the ball to first base in an attempted pickoff. The better the pickoff move, the more likely it is that calls of balk will be heard from the team at bat. And sometimes the umpires will agree, which usually prompts an argument from the team in the field. Spectators find it especially confusing, with even diehard fans often unaware of what constitutes a balk. Behind the nuances of the balk rule, there lurks a fascinating history. The one element of the rule that seems crystal clear is its intent. Rule 8.05 instructs the umpire to call a balk when the pitcher's move is intended to deceive a base runner. But in a very real sense, this is the most befuddling aspect of all, since, as colorful southpaw Bill Spaceman Lee once pointed out, every single pickoff move is an effort to deceive a base runner. That paradox is a remnant of the first attempts to shape baseball's rulebook in the years before the Civil War, and a closer look at that process reveals another paradox. The absence of clear ethical standards in the years prior to 1920 reflects not a lack of attention to ethical considerations, nor the failure to try to impose standards. Rather, it was the result of trying to create ethical standards that were so idealistic that they relied heavily on judging a player's intent. In turn, the inherent subjectivity yielded a dependence upon unwritten rules. It's just a quirk that today's balk rule preserves that emphasis on conducting oneself with integrity. Most baseball rules have been carefully rewritten so that an umpire only has to determine what happened, not whether a player's intentions were admirable. But in the early days of baseball, a moral component was often evident on the baseball diamond, independent of the rules. Particularly striking in this regard was the custom of asking for judgment. Although we now take it for granted that the umpire will make a ruling on every play, there was no such expectation in the game's early years. Instead, the players themselves made the calls, and the umpire only got involved if one of the players called judgment to request that he settle a dispute. You can probably guess what happened next. Cries of judgment gradually increased in frequency, and before long they became so common that there were laments about the way things used to be. In the good old days, bemoaned one old-timer in 1885, it was considered dishonorable for a player to claim he had put a player out when he knew he hadn't. Now every player is expected to make the claim of bluff, as they call it, and if they can work the umpire, so much the better. The same tendency carried over to other aspects of play. To some, even the duplicitous curveball represented a violation of how the game should be played. So accusations of unmanly, unchivalrous, and unsportsmanlike acts and deeds sometimes flew. Each new dispute put further pressure on baseball's delicate framework, and eventually there was only one thing to do. The process of rewriting the rulebook began, with questions of intention slowly but surely eliminated. By the 1880s, it was possible for a sports writer to proclaim, "Baseball is played on its points, and the element of sentiment or chivalry does not and should not enter into the question in any shape whatever." In this atmosphere, players felt little compunction about using tactics that were deliberately designed to fool the umpire. With only one umpire overseeing most major league games until the first decade of the 20th century, there were many ways to do this, and players kept devising new ones. When a base hit was made with multiple runners on base, for example, cunning base runners knew that the umpire could not possibly keep an eye on all of the action at once, so they often cut in front of a base instead of touching it. Infielders were soon retaliating by obstructing the path of base runners or otherwise trying to slow them down, while catchers learned how to make noises with their fingers or mitts in hopes of convincing the umpire that a foul tip had occurred. Pitchers found a wide variety of ways to doctor the baseball, leading batters to fight back by trying to steal the catcher's signs. Groundskeepers unveiled a particularly long list of dubious tactics that included adding gravel and pebbles to the base paths to slow down would-be base stealers, slanting the baselines to help or hinder bunters, and modifying the height of the pitching area. Were these tactics wrong? From the perspective of the old-timers who had played the game by a strict code of honor and looked at themselves as ambassadors for their hometown, they certainly were. But from the vantage of players who came of age in the 1880s, it was actually possible to argue that a ball player who didn't use such tricks wasn't doing everything they could do to help their team win. One star asserted in 1889, "A winning team is made up of men who will turn tricks when they have a chance, men who work every advantage to win. All is fair in love and war, and the same may be said of baseball." The identity of that player, none other than the future owner of the White Sox, Charles Comiskey. In these ongoing disputes about how the game should be played, the problems caused by money, gambling, and game fixing became a particular source of contention. On the surface, all three of these issues seem straightforward. After all, every one of us has fond memories of the innocent years of childhood when we played games for fun, not for money, and when the chance to take part was the subject of so much anticipation that, of course, we gave 103%. It was only when we grew older and money entered our consciousness that life grew more complicated. So it is easy to imagine that all of baseball's problems could be solved by banishing the three-headed monster of money, gambling, and game fixing. Unfortunately, none of those issues admit of simple solutions. As discussed in another class, baseball's early efforts to preserve the game's purity by requiring amateurism ignored the reality that such a rule made it difficult, if not impossible, for members of the working class to take part. That complication meant that money entered the game in subtle ways, such as an offer by a wealthy club member to compensate a player for travel expenses or lost wages. Before long, gifted ball players were jumping from club to club after being offered well-paying jobs that entailed only nominal duties. In the parlance of the day, these revolvers unquestionably violated the ban on professional play adopted by baseball's governing body. But whether their actions were morally wrong was much more debatable. In many quarters, they were harshly denounced as hypocrites for accepting such jobs. But how many of these critics would have declined a better-paying job on principle? There appeared to be hypocrisy on both sides. Gambling also struck many as a straightforward question of right and wrong. That view was reinforced by the broad powers afforded the commissioner in order to preserve the integrity of the game, as well as specific rules, including what is today known as Rule 21, prohibiting members of teams from betting on ball games. Prior to the Black Sox scandal, however, many Americans not only believed that there was nothing wrong with wagering, but considered a willingness to place a bet when challenged to be an admirable trait. A perfect illustration occurred in August 1868, when New York City's premier baseball club, the Mutuals, traveled upstate to play a club representing Troy. In light of the disparity in the size of their respective cities, some of the visitors from the big city contemptuously referred to their opponents as the Haymakers. But at game's end, it was the backers of the home team who had the last laugh. When the chagrined supporters of the Mutuals tried to account for the unexpected defeat by blaming umpire John McDonald, it created still more indignation. A Buffalo reporter angrily shot back that it was an old dodge with defeated clubs to find fault with the umpire, and insisted that McDonald's decisions were governed by the strict rules of the game, and if the Mutuals or their friends think differently, can be easily decided by an impartial committee. The mutuals can find in Troy at any time plenty of gentlemen who will wager money and give odds on the decision of such a committee relative to Mr. McDee's umpiring. The assertion that many Troy residents would be willing to wager money on the correctness of McDonald's ruling was no figure of speech. Words are cheap when they are used to fling out unsupported accusations that impugn the reputation of another. Under such circumstances, it was seen as an honorable course to refute the charge and then offer to support those words with a bet. That belief that words should have consequences is where the phrase "putting your money where your mouth is" comes from. And it also helps to explain why gambling had its moral complexities. Just as money could lead to greed, so too gambling could do great harm when carried to excess. But in moderation, it was another matter entirely. But if the role of money and gambling in baseball are more complex than they appear, then at least game fixing is a straightforward moral issue, right? It can't possibly be right to deliberately compromise the integrity of the game, can it? Shouldn't we always give 103%? Even here, however, applying moral absolutes is a tricky business. To be sure, few would argue that being disgruntled with Charles Comiskey gave any of his players an acceptable justification for betraying the faith of 50 million people. It would take a hard heart indeed not to be moved by the anguish felt by the children who had looked up to those players. But here, too, there are shades of gray. In 1956, more than 35 years after the scandal, Chick Gendel, the Black Sox player who set up the initial meeting between the gamblers and the 8 players, finally agreed to tell his side of the story to a reporter. In a first-person account in Sports Illustrated, Gendel admitted that the players accepted money to throw the World Series and offered no defense for the thing we conspired to do. It was inexcusable. He insisted, however, that their intent was simply to make some easy money and that they gave their best effort, but lost as a result of pure baseball fortune. Whether Gendel's claim is true is difficult to say, but there is good reason to believe that at least some of the players who accepted money from the gamblers did so with the intention of double-crossing them. If so, it adds another wrinkle to the situation. Consider, for example, a scenario in which the players had met with the gamblers before the World Series and accepted money to lose, only to play their hearts out and defeat the Reds. If their false promises to fix the series had been exposed, would public confidence in baseball have been shaken? And would they have been punished so severely? Those two are difficult questions to answer. What can be said with certainty is that in the years prior to the 1919 World Series, many ball players had placed themselves in the murky middle ground between actually fixing games and discussing doing so. An intriguing example was noted by Chick Gendel in his Sports Illustrated article. According to Gendel, Sport Sullivan, the same gambler who arranged the 1919 meeting, had approached him 7 years earlier with an offer to pay to be tipped off about which pitcher would start the next game for his team. Gendel declined, but here was yet another nuance. Had he agreed to provide the gambler with this inside information, it would not have compromised the game itself, and for that matter, would have had no effect except to give the gambler a somewhat better chance of winning any wagers he placed. So it was easy to see why a player might conclude that providing such inside information would do no great harm. Indeed, in the years before the Black Sox scandal, ball players were confronted with all sorts of temptations and moral quandaries. Baseball's first acknowledged game-fixing scandal took place way back on September 28, 1865, when the best 2 out of 3 format meant that both clubs, the Mutuals of New York and the Eckfords of Brooklyn, would profit from extending a series to the full 3 games. This format led one of the crooked Mutuals to assure a teammate that, we can lose this game without doing the club any harm. As an interesting side note, it would have been customary for the Eckfords to commemorate the win by placing the game ball in their trophy case. But while the still extant case features balls from most every victory the club earned from 1855 to 1868, it does not contain a ball from this fixed game. Perhaps the Eckfords did not want to boast of this tainted triumph. A dozen years later came the revelation of game fixing by several players on the Louisville team that had been leading the National League's second pennant race until a late season collapse. While there was strong evidence of a conspiracy by the Louisville players, what was less clear was whether they had thrown league games or only exhibition contests. If the latter, then it raised another knotty moral conundrum about when players had to give their best effort. The simple answer, of course, is to say that players should always give 103%, but in reality, exceptions are common. Nobody would fault a team for not using its best lineup in an exhibition game, or would expect a fielder to risk injury by attempting a spectacular catch. Even in regular season games, no reasonable observer would express doubts that the game was on the level because a team rested a star player or because a player pulled up to avoid a collision, since it is understood that the ultimate goal is to win the pennant, not just a single game. In yet another nuance, it was a badly kept secret that clubs in a tight pennant race sometimes offered a cash reward to any pitcher who defeated their rival. This practice, too, raised troublesome issues, but whether this was wrong seemed especially murky, since the team in question was just being given more incentive to try to win. In light of all these complexities, innuendos about shady dealings during pennant races and World Series were frequent in the years prior to 1919, but efforts to prevent game fixing were limited and proved difficult, if not impossible, to enforce. By and large, baseball was essentially reliant upon the reality that fixing the outcome of a team sport is made very difficult by the need to pay off many players and the resulting risk that word will get out. In summary then, while the Black Sox scandal is often thought of as baseball's original sin, it is more accurate to think of it as a turning point in how Americans thought about concepts like the right way to play the game and the best interests of baseball. These issues were hotly debated in the years before the scandal, and those arguments revealed some important principles, such as the futility of asking an umpire to judge a player's intent. Nevertheless, as a result of the complexity of the issues involved, what constituted ethical behavior remained open for interpretation. When the Black Sox scandal came to light, however, another very important principle became clear: that the integrity of baseball, or of any activity, is jeopardized not only by actual instances of deception, but by the appearance that it might be taking place. This meant that neither those moral complexities nor the details mattered nearly as much as the simple reality that baseball needed to be above such suspicions. To accomplish that, it was necessary to pass and enforce strict rules that did away with all the middle ground, even if someone like Buck Weaver became collateral damage. Although the hiring of Kennesaw Mountain Landis and the creation of the commissioner system led to some of baseball's unwritten rules being transformed into written rules, debates about the right way to play baseball continue to this day, and they should. So too, parents still explain to their children the importance of giving 103 or 110% and similar principles, even though they know that there are times when those principles don't necessarily apply. We know life isn't really as straightforward as the platitudes tossed around in sports, but we also know that kids look to sports for lessons. So that is an inconsistency we can live with. By the same token, it is possible to view Buck Weaver with sympathy and admire him for giving his best effort, while also believing that it was necessary that he be banned from baseball. When the scandal was first revealed, sports writer Paul Eaton wrote that Weaver was an easygoing, happy-go-lucky chap. and enumerated some of his other admirable traits, but then added, "This is a case where organized baseball cannot show leniency, even to those it might like to extend it to. To condone any such offense would quickly kill the game." That is an assessment that is hard to argue against.
Good morning, everybody. This is Donald Blomdahl, Hall of Fame veteran, sports cards and collectibles, coming to you with scandals and deception on the diamond. Hopefully you all enjoyed that lecture. We've got one more in this 24 lecture series. I'm back, just rebooted. Bibster, just rebooted. What'd you do, put your boots back on there, Bibster? You probably put your boots back on. Ah, boy. Hopefully you all are having a good Thursday out there today in YouTube land. Hopefully you're ready to have some fun in the channel today. We got 5 people watching, 4 thumbs up, thummies up, thummies up, thummies up for me. Appreciate it. There's a snake in my boot. Well, John, take off your boot and put the snake outside of the house and get on with life. Commercials every few minutes. How'd that happen, Bibster? Oh, my word. I know if you leave the stream and you come back, when you jump back into the stream, you're going to get a commercial. But as long as you stay in the stream and let your stream keep running, you shouldn't get too many commercials except for when you first start the stream. So, if you leave the stream and come back, that's why you'll get a commercial every time you jump back on. I don't get them on Donald's channel. John, you might be a YouTube Prime member. If you're a YouTube Prime member or Premium member, you don't get commercials like me. Well, during the election, I did get a lot of Biden videos. Okay. Oh, my word. John Fishman. All right. We are going to get ready to go into part 2 of today's stream. Been them the last 3 or 4 days. Interesting. Oh, just got another bid on one of my cards on my eBay auctions. I get little alerts every time I get an increase in bids. I could turn my sound on my other phone and you'd hear the cha-ching when somebody bids on a one of my cards in my 81 auctions I have listed up. They will start closing starting tomorrow through the weekend, and of course I'll be getting my next set of auctions ready starting tomorrow. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I list up 25 auctions each day on the weekend. And the reason I do that is so they go, I like that sound, cha-ching. Do you remember it, Bibster? All right. Donald 2024. I don't know about that. But we're going to have fun in the channel between now and then, that's for sure. Bibby, I collect 2009 Topps Mayo Warren Haynes cards. His auto I was getting for $40, and then someone on COMC put one up for $225, and now there are a few over $150. Oh yes, they don't sell. I send them $50 offers, and they decline and just keep relisting and relisting. Ugh. Not Blomdahl. All right, so we are going to have fun with the Bibster Box now. That is the new addition to my channel, the Bibster Box. Got to fix this. It's going to tip over. That's our sneak peek preview for our next Hall of Famer for tomorrow. So I'm going to move this a little bit closer here. Let me cover up the ball cap for now. Donald Blomdahl, Dearman 2024. I don't know if I could handle Dearman as my vice president. He's got a little bit of ADD, I think. And he gets to me sometimes. Chuck Dupree Sports Cards. What's up, everyone? I like that. John Fishman says, the Bibster Box. I think that was no mistake by putting the $sign there for the S. The Bibster Box. Oh, no, that... I know, it does look like it's a $sign there, right? That's just my tails on my S's. I put tails on my S's. Is that what that looks like there? Here, let me see if I can fix that real quick. I didn't want it to look like a $sign. Here, let me, there we go. There, does it look like a bigger, like a Superman S now? Here, if I draw on it a little bit better. There. Does it look like more like Bibster now instead of Bibster with a $sign? Bibster with Bibster, the Bibster of all things wax packed. All right. So what I did yesterday when I ended the stream and stuff is I went through, actually when a little bit later in the afternoon, just before we went to church. I got this ready and stuff, and I'll open up the lid in a second here, but I'm going to need help on how to do this. So each day we'll kind of count down. I'll put a sticker here. We've got 2 rows in this shoebox here. Okay. This is the Blomdahl shoebox. I should have put probably next round tomorrow. I'll give you an update on the bottom of the box, but it does have a snug fit, but I'll show you right here real quick. Let me move that over a hair. So this is the Bibster Box of Sweetness. So what I did was I did go in, and there are 2 rows of 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So there are 2 rows of 25, so we have at least 25 episodes in this box. And then as we get the next box next month from Bibster, we'll replenish what we have in here. So if I do start overlapping, I will mix these up, and these will be pulled out randomly from the box here. What I did was I put 20... is that what I said? 20? Was it 20 cards? Yeah, I put 20 cards, so we'll do 40 cards a day. All right? And we'll pull one out of this side and one out of this side. And we'll start the counting. We'll decide on whether we want to do left to right or right to left, or right to left or left to right. Does that make any sense to somebody back there? But what I will do is I will ask for participation here. Okay, we'll ask for participation, and we'll get 2 packs that we'll pull out of here and share in the channel. Okay, so let me put the Bibster Box lid off to the left here. Let me get a couple of baseball card stands here. Where did that one go? Where did I put I'm missing one of my stands. I have 4 of them. Must be hiding somewhere. I'll have to find it later. Let me put a couple of these stands back in the back here. That way when we move the Bibster box out of the way, we'll have a place to display the cards when we pull them up. And I do not know what happened to my other 4th stand. Where did I move it? Did I move it somewhere? I'm confusing myself now. That's okay, I'm easily confused anyway. I do not know where it went. Unless it fell on the floor somewhere. I don't see it on the floor anywhere. But we'll figure that out. I can always make another one later. I'm confused now. Anyway, we got 3 stands at least in the back there. Hold on, Bibster. I didn't ask for anything yet. There's a stand. Yeah, I think there must be a stand thief, or I said it somewhere and don't remember where I said it. My word. I don't know where it could have wandered off to. I'm searching. Uh-oh. Okay, I see what that is. I don't see it. Let me just check something really quick. Maybe it did fall underneath here. No, didn't fall there, that's for sure. I'll be with you momentarily as I look on the floor here. I don't see it, but I must have stuck it somewhere. It'll surface at another time, that's for sure. Don't mind me. Sometimes you just have one of these days. But other than that, so yeah, the first 2 in the stream today were John Fishman and the Bibster of All Things Wax Packed. I already gave you your entries into the Wheel of Names. And just so everybody's aware of it, in the Wheel of Names, we do have 227 entries at the time here. We do have 227 entries. So, let me get my wheel saved so I don't forget to do that. As soon as we get there, momentarily, my computer is acting slow. But, acting really slow. It's acting so slow I'm going to fall asleep if it don't wake up soon. I spy with my little eye a 2021 Kyle Lewis. Oh yeah, he's lurking about there, that's for sure. There we go, it opened up finally. Let me get that there. There we go, okay, I've got it there. We've got 227 entries in the Wheel of Names. And I'll go through and highlight. I got another Kyle Lewis yesterday. I'm waiting on one more for 2021. 2021. But, so John Bibster already chose. He wants the 7th from the left. 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bibster chose 7. And then, John, I need you to choose a number from 1 through 25 in the back row here. If John's still hanging out with us in the background, I need you to choose a number between 1 and 25. He wants 25, so 1, I'm not even going to count. 25's right here. So there we go. So we're going to open up these 2 packs for today. Let me put the lid back on the Bibster box, and we will bring it back out tomorrow for another installment of the Bibster of All Things Waxed Packed and his special, the Bibster Box Family Meal Call Sweetness. So let me pop this out of the way real quick. Okay. Got that on the floor down there. And we're going to go ahead and open up these 2 packs of sweetness here. These 2 packs of sweetness. And yes, I did have the relic there, and this is the base card for the Kyle Lewis. So actually, you know what? I don't think I did this fully yesterday, did I? I'm going to, as we're waiting and thinking what I did with that other. What's this one? Oh, okay. I remember that now. That's private. Here, I'm knocking some of my stuff down here. Sorry, Dad. Oh, my word. Ichiro fell over, too. My dad is always up here with me. I know you can't see that. One of these days, I'll show that. And then Ichiro's right there. And that's right there. And all right, forgot to sweep off my mat. Let's get this here for now. And yeah, we do have this 2021 Major League material from Kyle Lewis. And I've got this one, the 582 Montgomery style Kyle Lewis, card number 3. And this is actually a rookie card from 2020. That one, but I couldn't resist getting that one when I saw that one. Then, of course, I've got the 2 so far in the Kyle Lewis sweetness here. We got the 86B 86 base. And then we've got this one here, the Kyle Lewis game player worn memorabilia. And I think I can get this to stand right here, maybe. There we go, and the 582 right there for some of my new Kyle Lewis sweetness to put into my Kyle Lewis collection. I am surprised Cynthia hasn't told the United States Postal Service to block Bibby's packages from your house. That's okay. She knows when this big box comes in every month, it's from my friend in Georgia. But let me see. Let me put these back here on the back as we get ready to open up our content at hand here. Oops, wait a minute. There we go. It was a little bit crooked. I had to straighten Kyle Lewis out there. He needs to be squared away for the start of the 2021 spring training coming up here at the end of the month. The Seattle Mariners' first game of spring training is the 28th of February, and I am looking forward to that. So, the Bibster, we're going to open your pack first. Let me re-quantify that and rephrase that. The packs that you chose for me to open up on my stream, and we'll go with Bibster's first that he chose, and then we'll go with John's here. Okay? So without further ado, let's open up our packs here and see what kind of sweetness we can find here from the Bibster. And I forgot to do something really quick here. So let me get my, whoops, oh my word. Sorry. I forgot to move my cord out of the way here. There we go. Okay. So let me, I didn't put it there. That is puzzling to me, but I'll probably figure out where, oh, I know where it's at now. I know where it's at. It's not missing anymore. I know where I put it now. All right. But let's go through these cards really quick here. We've got a Ryan Zimmerman, Washington Nationals third baseman. Ken Griffey Jr. says. And we know where this one's going. Even though it's a Ryan Zimmerman, it is a Ken Griffey Jr. says. So I'm going to have to get, I'll be working on completing my Ken Griffey Jr. set. But there we go, Ryan Zimmerman. Then we've got Paul Konerko with the Chicago White Sox. Where's Chuck Dupree? But this one here says, Derek Jeter says, oh no, we got our first Fairfield Thursday. Our first Fairfield Thursday. Duplicate. All right, next up to bat, we've got Bill Russell with the Dodgers. An upper deck. This one is a 2005 upper deck product. There we go. We've got a Hall of Famer. And actually, let's see, so far, let's see, Derek Jeter, Ken Griffey Jr., both Hall of Famers. And then Bill Russell, I don't believe he's a Hall of Famer yet. All right, so we'll set him in the back here. Put all the Hall of Famers in the front row. Al Kaline, Bill Mazeroski, is a Hall of Famer. Got to get my cheat sheet out here. Al Lopez. Oh, so let's see. Bill Russell is not, right? Oh, okay. Al Lopez, manager, is a Hall of Famer. Sal Magley, not a Hall of Famer. Joe Black, not a Hall of Famer. But these are some cool swell cards there. Harvey Haddix. Lou Bordeaux. Is a Hall of Famer. Ooh, that's an old Pirate card. 1978 tops. John Candelaria. Oh no, we even got some 2020 cards snuck in here. We've got a goodbye home run. We've got the Chicago Cubs. Big hair. I like that one from last year. The Angels team card. Then we've got the Hollywood Heroes. Outfielders celebrate a victory. Then we've got the Atlanta Braves team card. And we got the Adalberto Mondesi with the Royals. And we'll finish it off with John Candelaria. All right. So let's put those there. These were all, except for the last one, were all landscape shots. I kind of like the big hair card out of this grouping, or the Atlanta Braves. I like this one more. The big hair. All right. Michael Heath, what I miss. Hi, everybody. We're just getting into the Bibster family mail call for today. We are rolling right along. We're almost at the hour mark. So we will get ready to rock and roll for sure. Redbeard Breaks is in the house. How you doing there, Redbeard? Jimmy, thanks for popping by, sir. Appreciate you hopping into the stream here today. Now we'll get into pack number 2 for the Bibster Box. What packs to choose today? All right, so Bibster pulled that one out of the box, and John Fishman chose this one. Donald, you don't have Red Beard modded. Get on that. Oh, that's what I forgot. I can do that right now. I forgot he's not part of the blue squad here. the Blue Jackets. There you go there, Jimmy. Hi, Bibster. Jimmy and John. All right. We are the Blue Wenches. No, not wenches, wrenches. Be nice, John. All right. Oh, I see some sweetness on the back here. I'm still working on trying to complete my 2019 gallery. 2019 gallery. I think we got some more 2019s here. But we got Luke Appling. Luke Appling here. All right. Then we got Charlie Robertson. Charlie Robertson. Okay. Then we got Vern Kenley. Setting all the Hall of Famers over here, so it goes in my Hall of Fame sort. Vern Kennedy. Vern Kennedy for the White Sox. Vern Kennedy. All right. Then we've got Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez. Followed by another Manny Ramirez with the Indians. See, he was with Boston here. The Cleveland Indians here. There we go, Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux sweetness here. All right. Hall of Famer. Then we've got Kirby Puckett. Kirby Puckett. Oh, almost missed that. Oh, there's a baby Kirby Puckett. A baby Kirby Puckett. Hey, John. We're the Blue Winch. Hey, Mike. Awesome. Thanks, Donald. Oh, no problem there. I keep forgetting to do that. Now that you popped in the stream, it's a lot easier to do it when you're here. We need more Chris Sabos. Yes, more Sabos. Donald loves Chris Sabo, Redbird. No, I don't. Don't listen to John. Don't listen to John. I do not need any Chris Sabos. One day I will own a Chris Sabo goggle relic. I just found some Panini Contenders football at Walgreens. Jeff Airtime dislikes minis. Oh, really? I almost missed it. I almost missed that mini. But there's a Kirby Puckett. Awesome little mini there from 1986 Flair. That's an old Kirby Puckett mini from back in the day. John Candelaria. This is a older tops here. 1983 tops. 1983 John Candelaria. Okay. Oh, we got some more. A few more. 2021 Gary Sanchez with the Yankees. Blake Treinen. Oh, I like that one. You see what he's doing there, right? He's looking upward. I gotta start setting these aside when I remember to do that. Do a PC on these ones. He's pointing up. He's looking up. Thanking the Lord for how he's doing on his pitching. Awesome. Let me set that one aside real quick. Gonna start doing that with those types cards. And boom. Matt Barnes with the Red Sox. Yasmani Grandal. All right, with the Brewers. Austin Barnes with the Dodgers. All right, let me set these cards away real quick. Put that in with those cards. These are, there's another one, another Grandal. And put this guy in the back here. Actually, I'll put those down there. Put those in with my 2020 cards. Next up to bat is Johnny Cudo. Oh, Johnny Cudo is an Allen and Ginter Fairfield double. Fairfield double for Cudo. All right. Let's see. Actually, I want to take this and set this one aside in a minute. That John Candelaria. We got another Fairfield double here. Nick Markakis with the Baltimore Orioles. Another Fairfield double. And it looks like we got some Jose Ramirez with the Cleveland Indians. Cole Tucker, rookie card for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Thairo Estrada, rookie card for the New York Yankees. And these three will go into, see how much closer I'm getting to completing my 2019 Topps Gallery set. Somebody's been sending me some of these. The Candyman card. Who's the Candyman card? So these 2019s will go there. I've got a home where I want to put that one for sure. These are my Hall of Fame cards, and these are non-Hall of Famers, but possibly good players up and down the road. Come on, you all, pretty woman, with your hair hanging down, open up your windows, cause the Candyman's in town. John's back in the background, reminiscing for sure. Oh, John Candelaria. Is that what you're talking about, John Candelaria? John Candelaria. The Candyman. Where did I see John Candelaria? Oh, the 83 here. John Candelaria. The Candyman can. Pittsburgh Pirates. 1983 Topps. Okay. So other than that, Donald, what is your nickname? Oh, you want to know my nickname? Well, I suppose I could get into that story. So all the way through high school, I did not have any nickname. But I did start wearing glasses after Donald's nickname is the conductor. Actually, not conductor. That wouldn't be too bad a nickname. I do like trains, planes, and automobiles. No. So here I'll tell you a little story before we end the stream here today on how I got my nickname. It's just here I'm just fixing these cards just a little bit for ending the stream after a little bit. But as far as my nickname, those aren't pillows. No, I'm just displaying them so you can see them better before they go into my 2019 Topps Gallery box. I know they're not pillows, John. But my nickname. So all the way through high school, I did not have a nickname. I graduated from high school, and my mom and dad, as a graduation gift, I think it was mainly my dad because he was the one that could afford it at the time. You got to know my backstory on that one. That is a line from Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. Okay. But so then I hopped on a train, believe it or not. That's where the conductor part might come in there, Bibster. They put me on a train, and I took a cross-country train ride from Philadelphia to Seattle. And then, of course, when I arrived in Seattle, my aunt and uncle from down south in Tacoma, Federal Way, actually, if you ever heard of that one. If you ever heard of Federal Way, Apollo Ono, the Olympic swimmer, he was from that general area in Washington State. But so I came cross country on a train ride, enjoyed the that was the funnest thing I ever done after high school. That's for sure. Up to that point. And so I came out and I spent the summer with my aunt and uncle, and they managed a Lutheran summer camp where I was just a camp hand. I was a camp hand. I don't know why I'm telling the story like this and you're looking at the cards. Let me turn the camera around real quick. Let me turn the camera around real quick and we'll tell this story a proper way, kind of like Bibster does on his channel. But so yeah, I came cross country, was spending the summer with them, and the plan was my folks gave me a round trip. I could either fly back home or take the train back or whatever. And they only bought me a one-way ticket since I was spending the whole summer here. But little did they know that I decided after the summer was over that I would stay in Washington State, and that caused a little bit of unrest. They were looking forward to me coming back home, I suppose. But so after that, Southeastern Division of Trainology. During the summer when I was a camp hand, it was called Camp Lutherland. It was called Camp Lutherland, and currently right now the camp does not exist anymore. And for those that are familiar with World Vision, if you're familiar with World Vision, World Vision's headquarters is in the same place where I spent the summer of 1977 and spent the summer as a camp hand there. Well, during my working as a camp hand and helping out in the kitchen and helping out my uncle with various different and sundry jobs and things to do while I was spending the summer with them, the campers that came through, because I had different types of glasses than I have now. They were kind of like bigger, kind of like wide. I can't really explain it. But the glasses I wore and stuff were different than the nicer ones that I wear today, like these Oakleys or whatever. But so what took place was, in 1977, did you have long hair? Yes, I did have longer hair, but not long. I wasn't a hippie, but it was probably sometimes down to here in some places and always unkempt and everything, every which way. But the campers, they, I guess some of them must have been familiar with the show called MASH. Does anybody remember MASH? With let's see, I'm trying to remember the different actors and actresses that were in that TV show called MASH. Well, anyway, if anyone remembers the guy that used to always work for the Colonel. Yeah, Jamie Farr was there. Yep. But do you guys remember the guy that always helped the Colonel out is like it was like his admin guy. He always did all the paperwork and stuff. His name was Radar O'Reilly. If anybody remembers Radar O'Reilly from the TV show MASH. Radar. Yeah, there you go. So that is what the campers started calling me that summer in 1977. Radar. They gave me the nickname of Radar because they said I looked like Radar at the time. And so that's what kind of stuck with me as a quote-unquote nickname, even when I went into the Navy and into the military. Other people there would say the same thing when they saw me with, especially once I was wearing uniform and stuff, so it just kind of fit in. But it kind of stuck with me through the years as a unofficial nickname. So if you guys want, you could call me Radar in the channel. That would not bother me at all. But yeah, so in answer to your question there, John, I do have a nickname. It's just never used that much, but it has been used through the years for different people, and different people have asked me, and I've always told him the story on how I got my nickname of Radar. But it wasn't Raydar, it was Radar, Radar. So, other than that, any other questions anybody might have out there? One of these days, I got to get it approved through my Southern Ops person here, but I do want to still try and do a StreamYard with the Bibster of all things Wax Packed. I do want to do a neighbor. My neighbor next door, they call him Radar. Oh, really, Michael? That's interesting. That is cool. Um, but yeah, so when the Bibster of all things Wax Pack is feeling up to it, we can do a special live stream with him as a co-moderator in a stream. But one thing I'm trying to figure out too, and because I'm having a slight problem with my phone and stuff, nothing major. It's stuck on the upload process of some of my videos. I know they're in YouTube, so I think as long as I don't delete them off my phone. What I did was I deleted one of my videos that's been right now I have 22 videos on my phone here that I use to record that are still trying to upload. I mean, every once in a while my shorter streams will upload, but my longer ones will not. Yeah, he was a mailman. He wore the hat. Oh, okay. Um, that's just kind of like anybody watch the show Cheers? Here goes another one. The show Cheers with Cliff, the mailman, in the TV show, in the sitcom show Cheers. Or not Cliff, Norm. Yeah, that's right, Norm. See, Michael probably watches Cheers more than I do. I've seen the show and watched it and seen a few episodes. Okay, who is it? Is it Norm? Or is it Woody? Or is it Cliff? Who is it? Same problem here. Oh, okay. Maybe that's just something new with what they've done, but that when I do my streaming through YouTube, so I've got 22 videos, but I don't want to delete them. I deleted one and I had to redo it because it actually deleted it off my YouTube channel. So I've got 22 videos. When I go into my list, I can see them. I go into my other computers, they're there, but I want them to upload or finish uploading, because all it really says on the device, and it's not on my other, because I'm looking here at my other device, in case you're wondering what I'm doing here, and I can go into my YouTube account and my library and my videos, and it doesn't show on this phone. This is my phone my real phone that I use. The phone that I'm using to record on is an old iPhone that I don't use anymore, but it can be used as a device and a recording device. So that's why I use it. That's my camera right now. At John, it's still at my house. Oh my word. Really? Well, you know that, oh, we're getting sidetracked. Too many sidetracks here. But anyway, so that's where I stand on that. So if there's anyone out there that can help me, tell me how I can get those videos off my phone without deleting them. Because if I delete them, I'm going to lose 22 videos on my channel. So I don't know what to do on that one. And I never have a lot of people in here. We've got 5 people watching. Do you have a cloud service? Yes, I do. I do have a cloud service. Unless for some reason maybe the cloud service, I better check my cloud service. Maybe something happened with that. I'll have to check on that one. Upload them to the cloud service. I just got to be smart enough to figure out how to do that. My cloud service should be automatic. It automatically uploads my information. That's a wreck waiting to happen when talking off subject. Yes, I've been known to go on rabbit trails all the time. Or upload to computer and put on a hard drive. Yeah, I have a hard drive and I'm still trying to figure out how to work that. But, and it's got 500, or no, it's, how many gigabytes is this one? Oh, it's 4 terabytes. My little mini hard drive is 4 terabytes worth of data. But I'm still trying to get that figured out too. I know 4 terabytes of data is a lot of information. Find a YouTube video and it will walk you through it. Okay, I will do that. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close our stream for today. And then we will be back tomorrow for our Hall of Fame video. You'll see a little sneak peek as to who we are doing for our Hall of Famer for tomorrow in a minute here when I turn the camera around. All right. You'll see a certain Hall of Fame player that will be to the left of my cards when I turn them around. YouTube is my go-to on how to. Yeah, I know. I've been trying to figure that out on my eBay store letter too, but it still hasn't worked for me. I can't figure out how to get the people that subscribe to my eBay channel or my eBay store to how to get their emails added into my newsletters so I can send out their newsletters. That's why I'm a terrible work in progress when it comes to technology. Unless I've done it enough times that it's just become repetitive, so I know how to do certain things. But whenever I'm trying to learn something new, it's difficult. Just pulled a Justin Herbert Rookie of the Year out of the Contenders pack. That's cool, Michael Keith. You know more than my dad. Well, thanks, John. Well, probably because all my life, I'll tell you another side story real quick before we do wrap things up here. I want to wrap up about 11:30. But I started when I was in high school with the TRS-80 color computer. Now I'm dating myself. Do you know what a TRS-80 color computer is? Back in the day, we called them the TRS-80 Coco color computer. I'm late to the stream today. That's okay, Frank. We're just getting ready to wrap up, though. But that was my first computer that I learned on. Is that when the computers took up a whole room? No, this is when they started getting smaller. But thanks, John. Appreciate that. My dad is the same. He has no clue about the internet, but can't keep him off Craigslist. I remember the TRS-80. I'm showing my age now. Laugh out loud. Yeah, on the TRS-80, you would take a cassette tape. Everybody remember what a cassette tape is? It's about half the size of an 8-track tape. That's when they went from the big 8-track tapes that you plugged into your I'm dating myself now. But yeah, and so when they moved to cassette tapes, you would plug in your cassette tape headphone jack into the TRS-80, and then you had to adjust the volume just the right volume so that you could upload the program into the computer. But once you turn the computer off, it didn't keep it in memory. So every time you wanted to play the game, you would have to load it back into the computer when the computer's on, and you would play the game as long as you want to. But once you turn the computer off and turn the switch off, when you turned it back on again, you had to reload the computer program back into the computer again. Frank Scar Corner. Speaking of cassette tapes, I showed one to my teenage daughter a month ago. She didn't know what to do with it. I still have a cassette player downstairs. I have a CD jukebox too. That's bad, Frank. So yeah. But it's, yeah, computers I've slowly evolved over the years. But once my personal computer dies that I have right now, I'm not buying another new PC. I'm using my Mac because that works best for me. I'm a Mac person now. And tried and true. So other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap things up today as we continue to move forward here. But we will be here tomorrow with our next installment of our Hall of Fame Friday. And then we will do another family mail call from the Bibster Box. What packs to choose tomorrow? Most liberals are Mac users. Yeah, I know, John, but I'm not a liberal, that's for sure. I'm a conservative, tried and true. It's just, to me, my PC just ain't cutting it anymore. My PC just ain't cutting it anymore. I can do a lot easier things with the Mac, I guess mainly because I'm an iPhone nut too. I'm an iPhone person for sure. You got it, Michael. I did like PCs, personal computers, until they started getting rid of my old programs, and then laugh out loud, Apple just gets it right. Yep, something that I think they're just taking over the market. Well, we know the backstory behind that one for some of us that are older. A phone is a phone. Yeah, I know, but I've tried using those other, let's see, the Samsungs. I just don't like the Samsungs for sure. I'm just used to my iPhone, so it works for me. Donald used to have a Cricket. No, I never had a Cricket, but I kind of know what a Cricket is. Those phones have like 3 buttons. John, the big conspiracy. That's why he liked the title of today's video. Lecture number 23, Scandals and Deception on the Diamond. I have a Samsung, but it's whatever people like. Exactly. Everybody has their preference. I just got stuck on iPhones. Donald had a flip phone. I did when the small cell phones did come out, but I got tired of pushing on the buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. It was always, okay, let's see. I want the C, so I got to push it 3 times real quick. Go to the next letter. 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 Those that knew how to go with their eyes closed, and they're phenomenal. I'm not that way. Sometimes my thumb is too big, and I can't touch the right letters on the keyboard. I wish kids had to try to text like that now. Yeah, they'll find it's really hard. But the ones that know how to do texting like that in the Philippines, they still do that on the older ones the ones that can't afford the newer phones, the ones that use the flip phones. They can go and text away, textaholics. The Orientals are very text savvy. So other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap things up today. This has been Donald Blomdahl, Hall of Fame Veterans, Sports Cards and Collectibles. We've got 6 people watching. We've got 8 thumbs up, thummies up, thummies up, thummies up for me. I want my 100-year-old grandmother's phone that she has been hanging on the wall. It had giant numbers that lights up. So cool. I was on a city bus when Robert Rudolph rode the bus in North Carolina. Oh my word. The Bibster. So you all have a great and wonderful and blessed rest of your day. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning, same bat time, same bat channel, for our Hall of Fame Friday. And I'll turn the camera around. If you look to the left on my break table, you'll see who the biography will be on tomorrow. All right, I'll point to him real quick. It's this guy here. For those that haven't been paying attention, he's been sitting here along with some of the cards I'm going to share. I don't have a big Ernie Banks collection. I might pull one out of my 2020 medallion rookie card medallion cards, because I don't really have his rookie except for the medallion card from last year. So Ernie Banks will be our Hall of Fame Friday for tomorrow. You all have a great, wonderful, and blessed day. Can't wait for the Bernard Gilkey bio. Yeah, one of these days I should do a special set of all those special players everybody loves to collect. Especially John Fishman. One of these days, John Fishman will probably get a box of about 10,000 Chris Sable cards. That would be a day that I'd like to watch him open it on his channel. But other than that, you all have a great and wonderful, blessed day. I'm going to do my signature sign off here for those that are still hanging out in the chat. And you all have a great, wonderful, and blessed day. Hopefully everybody's had a good one today. Let me get ready to do my closer here. No. Oh, sorry. Bear with me. My computer's... There we go. Okay, who else was in here? Dun, dun, dun. Got Frank, got Michael. Yes. Keep going up the chat, see if I can get some of the ones that came in here briefly. Okay, I think we're probably good to go. Oh, wait a minute. Redbeard Breaks was here. Who else did we have here? I think I've got everybody. I'm almost back to the beginning. Oh, Chuck. I think I've got it all. We didn't have too much chatting today, so. Boom. Went all the way back to the beginning of the stream. Okay. Almost there. Oh. Okay. Oh, hit that button, Blomdahl. At Frank's Card Corner, and at John Fishman, and at Michael Heath, and at the Bibster of all things Wax Packed, and at Redbeard's Breaks, and at Chuck Dupree Sports Cards, and everyone else for joining. See you all tomorrow morning at 10 Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our next exciting episode on Donald Blomdahl by God's Grace's channel. Y'all take care, have a wonderful and blessed day, and we will see you all later. Bye for now.